All right. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you very much for coming onto my podcast.
No problem, girl. Got you.
Um, Thank you. So I thought what would be nice before we get started is if you could tell the people where they can find you online and also what kind of person that you would like to follow you. If you could describe your like ideal follower, what
Ooh,
kind of person they are.
that's an interesting question because to get an ideal follower would mean I'd have to have the ideal account you get, but alas, I'll go with
Don't
it
put your account is
anyway.
amazing. Go on, plug yourself.
Okay, so on Instagram, your girl is called Gabby Paints, and that's GABEEPAINTS because Gabby was taken. And then my personal account is at Gabrielle with two E's and two L's and an E at the end. Instagram, same thing, Gabby Paints. I just said to keep it simple. And ideal follower. What would my ideal follower be? Somebody who is in pursuit of their highest self, because that's what I'm in pursuit of. So,
Ooh, I
like
love that.
minded people, just like good vibes, good vibes. None of that arrogant crap, just good vibes.
And you are really good vibes. I
Oh,
texted you the other day and I was saying you're such good vibes
I know
because you are.
it was a good conversation.
That's
I loved it.
great. So, I mean, it's obvious from the name, but
Right.
people may not know, but you are an artist,
Yes, I
aren't
is.
you? And so so you do art in various different mediums. So
Yeah.
what kind of different things do you do?
Um, is it really? I'm kind of like narrowing down. I think the more I paint, the more I kind of figure out that like I'm most invested and most interested in oil paints and just like traditional canvas and stuff like that. I have been
Mm-hmm.
dabbling lately in just your traditional style graphite pencil and paper, but I don't know. I think that just helps with my technique. What I'm actually interested in is like color, like the bleeding of like oil paints into one another. But yeah, I'm still like in a process of trying to figure out what exactly I want to paint, like what matters to me and what art is for, and understanding what art can do, and like therefore like feeding that into my work. So I'm still really much on a in a place of like discovery, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when you like put together color, and because I mean, looking at your Instagram, it's sensational. I love it. It's
Stop it.
so
Thank you.
beautiful to look at. And during the lockdown,
Yeah.
you've been doing a sketch a day,
Right.
and it is great.
We love
And
to
it's
see it. Thank you.
amazing. Like genuinely, we love to see it. And I love your pictures. And so when it comes to putting together colors, I
Yeah.
find it fascinating. I can't draw to save my life. I can put together outfits, but in
hmm
terms of actually like creating, I don't know
Right.
how. So it seems scary to me because you're just out there. There's no going back once you start painting, right? Or is there?
So that's the thing. I find that with oil paints, there is. With acrylics, it's like you put, like, for me, it feels like when I put down acrylic on paper or on canvas, whatever I'm painting on, it's like I've just put cement on a piece. It's just like, it's so fixed to me. But oil paints, they don't dry. Like, if you're using like high end oil paints, they can be still wet for like, we're talking like, depending on how much you use, we're talking like weeks, months. Like, a painting will be done and like you'll come back 3 months later and you can still manipulate it. You can still change it quite a lot. Like it's just
Because it's
so,
oil
yeah,
based.
it's oil based, it's continuously moving. So,
Wow.
the higher the quality paint is, the more you can like just rework and rework. And that's why you get these paintings that are like super hyper real. But then I just have to like give credit to
Hmm.
all the acrylic painters out there who are still creating this hyper real work because it's like, I don't know, that you put that thing down and in like 3 seconds it's dry. And I'm like, that's so much pressure. But yeah, with oils, it's so much easier. So I think that's why I'm most invested in oil paints because you can just continue to manipulate it and continue to change it, which is really important for me because I am like many people, I have like this perfectionism. I have this like idea in my head, and if it's not coming out, I will go back again and again and again and again until it's as close as I can get it to what I'm seeing in my brain. Yeah.
I love that. And so so I presume that you've got the ability to keep that exact picture in your head as you're painting.
No, you know what it is? It's just like it's not even like a exact picture. It's just a standard. Do you know what I mean? It's like there is like this is a bar. So in my head, I've
Mm,
got the picture in front of me that I'm painting. I can't paint from so there's some amazing artists out there who can paint from imagination. I have to paint what I'm seeing. And
mhm.
for me, I can't paint um any old how. It has to be very much planned and everything needs to be preset. So when I'm painting, it's not that I have an exact idea of what it's going to be, but I have an idea of what quality and what standard it's going to be on. And if it doesn't meet that, that's when the frustration comes in. Do you get? So it's not like,
Yeah.
oh, it has to look exactly like this. It's more like it has to be just as good as X or just as good as Y, which is my own previous work, not anybody else's. So yeah, it's just a standard, I guess. It's kind of how I do it.
I love that. I love that. So I just find that fascinating because I can't hold on. Like sometimes with me, the reason I ask is because I can't hold on to an idea sometimes. If I don't
Right.
write it down,
Right.
I have to just wait until my next eureka moment. So
Oh, well,
with
as in
and
you
a lot of work,
forget, or what do you mean?
like it will just escape me because I have to feel
Ah,
very passionate. So when you talk about execution and knowing that there's a
right.
standard,
Yeah.
because what everything I do, it's not art in the same way,
Mhm.
but it's still execution of like a
Mhm.
creative idea.
Mm.
So, but I will take a lot of time. So sometimes it could be 6 months between an idea and
Mm.
me actually taking the first step to
Oh,
make it
same.
reality
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'll refuse. Like I'll
Mm.
be like, I'm not even ready, you know, to make this a thing. And maybe sometimes I haven't learned enough of the skills I need to
Right.
execute it. So I have to like park it because I
No,
can't quite
I
do
don't.
that yet.
Yeah, I think so many of us are like that, including myself. And I think that is we do ourselves such a massive disservice when we do things like that because like I like when I think of like the world greats or when I think about like the people who accomplish so much. Yes, there's obviously like a level of skill and a level of like, knowledge and stuff before you can't just so I'm going okay, Gabby, like today I'm gonna make an app. Like no, like
Right.
I don't have the skill set to make an app. However, when it's like in our lane, in our avenue, in our I don't know, our stream of consciousness, that means it's ours. Like, and it's just a matter of putting it out there. And my sister was even telling me something the other day about like strategize second, put out first. Put the stuff out, see
Mm,
what you're getting, see what comes out when you put it out. And it's better to maybe not to the world, but it's better to put down a bad idea than to put down no idea at all. Do you get what I mean? And just to do nothing. Because in the time that we're doing nothing, many, many, many people are doing something. And it might like, do you get what I mean? Google didn't turn into Google in a day. It happened over time. And all these big, great things that we see, they all happen over time. So my thing is just kind of like, just put out for the sake of putting out. And as you put out, you get better and better and better and better. And you see it all the time in people who's like, accounts very consistent. You see the growth. And then you know what you do? You just archive all the stuff that was crappy. You know what I mean? As time goes by, you just put all the stuff that wasn't like that great in the basement, and then you keep all the top level
mm.
stuff at the top. But my thing before, especially with the art, was just like it's not time. Like I'm not ready. I haven't practiced, and it's like, well, you can't keep using these excuses if you're not creating anything. You have to create first, and then you can judge it after. But if there's nothing to judge, then it's just a lot of talk.
I really agree with what you're saying
Mhm.
because with my YouTube, especially with my YouTube, like I have been in this bind, like this paralysis for years now,
Really.
where I'm like, oh, it's not going to come out the way I want it, or it's not going to be good
Mhm.
enough. But it's like
Mhm.
actually create the content and then strategize.
Right.
So but I really appreciate that energy because that's
Right.
very much what I am trying to be in the business of doing these
Yeah.
days of like just come up with the idea, execute it, and
As
then once
best
it's
as you can.
executed,
Exactly.
yeah,
I think that's just the
exactly. So
best way to
that's
go
what
about it, honestly.
it really is. And so yeah, so I'm glad that you mentioned that. So do you feel yourself doing a lot of commission things in the future? Is that something that you want to do more of, or is it more of like a when I'm inspired by the person, then I'll create it?
Um, like I was doing before all this like COVID stuff, I was doing a lot of commissions, and I guess because like not everyone's an artist, they just like appreciate art. I found there was an element of it that was quite frustrating in the sense that people were um, wanting me to like paint things in a way that I'd already done it before. So, like, for example, like, okay, yes, I have a style, but I paint everything differently, right? So everything might fall under one theme, but it will all have its own individual take. But then people would be like, oh, can you paint it with the exact same thing from this painting? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well,
No.
no, that's not what I want to do. But then at the same time, I need to eat. So, and you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I've got my, my corporate job anymore. So really, there's an element where it's like I'm taken out of the equation. I just become this hand, as opposed to like
Mm.
an artist with like an opinion or a suggestion. I just become the person who could paint their baby or paint their dog in a particular kind of way, and then
Have you?
just
No.
it could just get a bit dry, really, because like
Mm.
there's no freedom in that. There's just very much like make it look like my baby and also make it look like which is which is great. Like I'm so thankful that they found me, and I'm so thankful that they want me to be the person who encapsulates like this precious moment in life. But it just has its pros and it has its cons. So like right now I've kind of like closed my commissions. Like I'm doing like one last set for someone, like a friend of a friend, but then after that I'm kind of like done for a bit. I just want to like go back into the art for what I entered it for a
Mm.
season and then come back in. But that's a place of privilege coming, because you know what I mean, like like at the end of the day, when I get hungry, commissions will be definitely open for sure.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Um, so have you thought about things like prints or like t-shirts or
Right.
things like where you create the piece and then you capture the piece and then you can make money off of
Right.
that? Like,
So
is that
yeah.
something that you would consider, or is there like a hesitance towards that? I'm just curious because
Yeah, it is
yeah.
like it is quite,
Um,
I don't know. I think when you I don't know, like you think of like great artists that like you're inspired by or whatever, and they're not painting to make money. They're like creating because they have something to say, and they're creating because they want to communicate something, or they want to do something. And then I don't know how you can wear that cap and also wear the cap that says I want to sell t-shirts. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just very difficult
mm,
to be a true artist, quote unquote, and also be the person who wants to like make mad money, right? Because like normally the artists, the bigger artists, the famous ones that do make mad money, they make mad money like later on in life or after they've been. Some of them don't even make money until they're dead, kind of thing. And
mm,
so it's just that thing of like, if I want to be a commercially successful artist, then it's like there is something that has to give, and it's not necessarily the style, but it's like prints and stuff. Like that's a good way of making money. So I do prints, and I didn't even forgot to plug my website, gabbypaints.com. But yeah,
hey,
I sell prints on that website of paintings that are already like done, and that's a good way to hold on to my originals, because I need to stop selling my originals so that if I want to put an exhibition up, I have the work myself. Whereas I'd sold so many of
hmm,
the originals, I had no work physically of my own. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
prints are great, fantastic, but then it's kind of like the kind of stuff that people want in their home is not kind of currently the kind of stuff I'm painting. So there's this like weird problem. Like what I'm painting right now would look funny on a t-shirt, Loki. Like, let's just be real. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how these
because it's
like portraits of like black men are gonna just be across my chest. I can't really imagine
but
it.
you never know. You never
You
know.
don't. But the thing is, I think my next series might be a bit more accommodating for that kind of idea. It was still what I want to do, but at the same time I think it could cross a barrier where it's like, actually this could be kind of cool as a poster, or this could be kind of cool as like a print on a t-shirt, or like it's just something. It could just go, I think it could go further than just a painting that I do for myself. Do you get what I mean? So
I do get what you mean.
trying to figure that out. There's a lot to figure out with all this stuff. It's just making me think, to be honest.
You better get your notepad and your pen.
Legit.
Well, good thing it's
I literally
recorded
have a
so you
notepad
can
right here, like pen and paper is here, because I need
so
stuff
you
to
can
find.
come back to it.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, so I was asking just because I'm curious because, this whole being true to the integrity of what you're making and also making it profitable
Right.
is a thing. And I think being in law, and this is something I find because you mentioned that
Mm,
you weren't working in your corporate job anymore,
yeah.
and something I have always found is that legal people and corporate people, we're similar, but we're not the same
No.
because our game is we can't do for free unless
Right.
it's a deliberate like pro bono thing.
Mm,
But to actually show your skills and your abilities for free is very, it's difficult because
right.
you only do that for people who desperately need it. So a lot of the challenge with that career is being competitive and basically trying to say my skills are better than everybody else's. And it's all about profitability at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
So you can't escape that realm. So for me, I've always enjoyed, and I do enjoy my creative ventures, so like YouTubing and whatever, but still there's that pressure to make it profitable,
Right.
especially if, say, for example, if I need time to create an edit,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do everything in the evening. Like sometimes I'm going to need a whole day or a
Right.
couple of days
Right.
or maybe a week to execute something,
Right.
depending on how far I go with everything.
Yeah.
If I'm going to justify not working for a week, I need to get the same or more money
Right.
than I would if I'd have taken some cases or done some client work.
Right.
And I know my life is basically going to live in that balance of money or creativity, money or
It's
creativity, money or creativity.
I feel like, yeah. Um I have this
And that's a
conversation.
hard
It's really hard, isn't it?
place to be in.
Especially for lawyers, like I feel like, yeah, of course there's a bunch of lawyers who enter law because it's a very lucrative like industry and very um respectable profession to have. But from what the lawyers that I know, the people I know who are pursuing law, a lot of it started from wanting to be this like wanting to be an upholder of, justice and truth and this and that.
Mm.
But truly,
There's a lot of ways you
as
can do
you
that. And
know,
sometimes
and
being a lawyer actually isn't always a
so
guarantee that
that's
you
what's
can
really
do that.
interesting, kind of speaking to my lawyer friends and realizing that actually the work that they thought that they would be doing when they were 10 and wanted to be a lawyer is not the work that they're doing now. Like the where the money is at for lawyers is not in the pro bono stuff at all. Like that stuff is extremely
Not
stressful and
remotely.
very like hard work, very low reward kind of thing. The money's in the corporate
Yes.
stuff. The money is in the, is in the
Because
place.
your client,
Yeah. You know?
when you said that you're holder of the brush,
Yeah.
at least with client work in that sense, when you're commissioned, it's very clear that, I'm coming to you because you have a special skill and I want to use it. A
Right.
lot of people just don't, a lot of people don't even care how smart their lawyer is. They're paying you because they will look at your CV and be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I know you went to that school, you got that grade,
Mm-hmm.
or you work at this firm, so I'll trust you, I'll give you the money.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean that they necessarily think that you are smarter than them or that
Mm.
they couldn't just do it themselves.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people want from their lawyers is to be dispensable. And
Right.
the lucrative nature of the work comes from the fact that they want you there at their beck and call because
Right.
they can't be bothered to do it. Not because a lot of them think, oh, well, if I went down and had a go at the judge, then, the judge will definitely see my side. Like a lot of people think that because they don't hire a lawyer because they think, oh, I am so stupid. Please, smart lawyer
Mm-hmm.
person,
Mm-hmm.
help me. They do it because they don't have the time. They're running a business. It's effort. They don't
Yeah.
want to have to go through all the paperwork and whatever.
Right.
So when
Right.
they hire the lawyer, they're like, sort it out.
Yeah.
And so when I chose the bar, it's because at least at the bar, you're a specialist advocate.
Right.
They're hiring you because they actually legally can't do that
The stuff
themselves.
that, yeah, they can't do these things without
So
you.
so you're guaranteed a modicum more of like respect,
I love it.
a modicum, just
Yeah,
small,
just a
small
teeny
from
weeny.
your client
Yeah.
because your client knows. But what's happening more and more is that there's litigants in person, so
Mm-hmm.
people are actually going to court on their own.
Mm.
So you as a barrister are having to appear against Joe Blogs,
Mm.
who's representing himself.
Crazy.
And it's crazy. So what's really fascinating about it is that it forces you into a position of your clients hire you because they think, oh, you are the best to do it.
Right.
But what I hate, and this is probably why my heart and soul runs towards my creative ventures that I can
Mm,
have control of.
mm,
I don't control what makes people think is a valuable and effective barrister,
right.
because people still think that a good barrister is a middle class white guy that went to Oxford, and I
Absolutely.
can't.
God, stress.
So when clients, like, I've got one I would call her a mentor just because I really look up to her, and
Mm,
so she's like my mentor. But I don't, but you know what I mean.
mm,
I stand,
mm,
and she was the first. Was she the first Afghanistan barrister from? I'm not even going to say where it's from because I'm going to get it wrong and she's going to shout at me.
mm.
But her name is Rahana Popal,
Yeah.
and was in the news because her client said, "I'd rather can I have a white man instead?"
Oh
And
gosh. Worrying
like
yawn.
the solicitor took the work away from her and gave it
Oh,
because the
wow.
client once the client was like, "I want to win. I don't. The judge isn't going to believe you, but they'll believe him."
Ill, ill, ill. What
So
era? What you like? Is this like in the last?
literally, this was last year.
Ill,
So
smelly.
it's mad because so in the legal world, clients want value, and
Yeah.
controlling what a client sees as valuable is very, very hard.
Right.
So when you're getting paid money
Right.
as a lawyer,
Yeah.
it's not always willing. And having worked as a like paralegal working for lawyers, a lot of people don't like the idea of you getting paid for things.
Right.
Like, it's surprising. Like, a lot of you'd be surprised. A lot of people are kind of salty if you get paid well, especially if you're young,
Really?
when they're in the same field, because obviously it's competitive.
Yeah. Of course.
So
Yeah.
when you're working in a firm and the firm itself is a brand, then there's slightly less suspicion and hostility towards you because
Gosh.
you're everyone's going to get paid. But what the pressure then becomes is to be the one that's in the office until 1 a.m. to show that you're working the hardest and you're
Oh,
worth your billable.
toxic. Toxic. This is the kind of thing. It literally makes my
Yeah,
spine curdle. Like literally. Like oh, it just bothers me because it's
imagine.
kind of like I don't know. Coming from the uni that we came from,
Mm,
seeing all these like talented it's just difficult. Like it's just I don't even know. We don't even have time to delve into all this and like
so
the
so
socio
difficult.
situation and everything. But it's very much so from what I saw was that we were coming out of uni and you had all these variants of personality and people ending up in three or four industries. And
Yep.
it wasn't that those people didn't have talents and skills for other things. Is that those people had the talent and skill, but also the intellect to get the highest paying jobs at the highest paying places. And they were willing to sacrifice their creativity and talent to pursue those things. And, as we're getting older, what is really nice to see, especially in this period where, a lot of crappy things are going on, with coronavirus and whatever. However, what you're also seeing is that a lot of people's talents are coming to the forefront. Seeing people who work at
Yes.
Goldman Sachs, JP, Deloitte, EY, just doing mad stuff. Is it photo editing, art, like music, like all sorts of stuff, cooking, even books, like realizing that there's so much more going on with these people than just their jobs. And it's been really like, I don't know, it's been really amazing to see like how much other people have going on apart from that side of themselves, but also kind of sad to see that like we aren't all in a, financial or I don't know, cultural position to pick what we want to do and um, how much money that we're willing to make. It's about just making as much money as possible. Do you get what I mean? And it's just like
Mm,
I completely get that reasoning, and I've been fortunate enough to, um, I'm blessed enough to be able to be in a position where I had that conversation with my parents, and they were like, you know what, like pick what you want
let's
to
do
do
it.
it. Yeah. And it was just, it's even for someone from my position, it was hard because it was like with everything that I see all my counterparts doing and with everything I've seen you guys do, I can't justify being an artiste. Like it felt frivolous. It felt very frivolous to be someone who sits at home and paints all day when like my friends are putting in the grind, my parents are hustling, do you know what I mean? And then I'm at home with my paintbrush. Like it just felt very I don't know how to describe it. I felt almost ungrateful in a way because I was pursuing art and not the stuff that had been invested in me. Like I graduated from a great uni with a good grade, and it's just like I want to be an artist. And to a lot of
But
people,
it's just as valid, and
that's the thing, and
it
it's
is.
like really hard to believe that it is valid because I know it's valid, but
Mm,
then a situation like this pandemic comes across, and it's like, well, how valid is it? Because if it was so
mm,
valid, people would still require it. And now the last thing anyone is thinking about is what poster they're going to put up on their bedroom, like what painting that
mm.
they're going to invest in. People are, unless you're an art curator, everyone is thinking about how they're going to eat, how they're going to make rent, how they're going to, and then it puts into question like the whole thing. And then it's like, okay, so then this goes back to the thing of like, what kind of artist are you? If you're an artist who has a commentary on socio political situations, this is a great time to create because there's so much going on. There's so much inspiration, right? But for an artist who was, seeking like commercial wealth, like in the form of posters and prints and this kind of stuff, that's the last thing that people are doing. Just the same way it's the last thing that people aren't going to restaurants. Like that's it, we fall in that
Exactly.
category. No one's going to the theater right now. Like that's just not on their mind. So it's just like I don't know. It's really complicated, and I don't know. It's a difficult space to come to peace with.
It definitely is. And when this whole idea of like value and the fact that people can see, or that you sort of have to let allow other people to see your value in like their own time, and that sometimes it fluctuates and changes, and then you still, but that may fluctuate and change, but the need to actually have money and resources never
Never
changes. It's
changes.
just as
That's just
just as constant.
exactly.
That's
Weird. It
crazy.
is crazy.
But it's just interesting to see. And that thing that you mentioned about creativity, I mean, I love that you mentioned, especially which uni we went to, because
Mm,
I always feel like with Warwick people that there's a reason, especially with like um, Black Warwick people,
mm,
there's a reason that we're there. And we are there because, Warwick always boasts how it has the highest employability and
mhm,
whatever.
mhm,
And you can, in these same 3 or 4 industries, like it squeezes it out of you sometimes, or it forces it into a secondary position in your life, like it relegates it,
mm,
and you become less whole. And I've definitely found myself like I've wanted so desperately to tap into that and embrace that other side of me.
mm.
And like you said, this pandemic has really brought those things to
To
the
the
fore and
forefront,
made,
yeah.
yeah, like made it a thing. So I love that. And I love that you mentioned that.
Excuse me. Ooh,
Um,
sneezed.
bless
Thank
you.
you.
This is why we stand editing and post production.
Love it.
Um, so I was wondering, so in my last episode, I was talking to a guy called 20 Days of June, who I'm obsessed with.
Ooh,
And he does music commentary and cultural commentary on hip hop and R&B, and he's based in New York, and he's really cool, and I watch him on YouTube.
love that.
Um, but I was talking to him about my music, and he was like, yeah, really encouraging me to just go forward and put my music out there. So I've been starting small,
Mm,
um, and I was supposed to record a song yesterday, then I was supposed to do it today.
mm.
So I'm actually gonna do it like before I go to
Do
sleep, but
it,
it's so
sis.
hard in my house to make anything happen.
No,
But
fair. The trying times.
so I remember I posted on my Instagram like some slow reverb remixes I'd
Yeah,
done, and then you commented and you were like, "Oh, I really like this," and you mentioned as well on the phone that you like that kind of
yeah,
vibe
that is so
music.
me. Yeah,
And
it's a bit of me, mate.
yeah, so I was just wondering, is there any like music that inspires you? Because when I listen to that music, I'm inspired to like write songs and whatever.
Right.
But are you inspired to like paint when you listen to music?
Interesting. Okay. I don't know. I'm like always listening to music, but I listen to music for different reasons at different times. So like
Mm,
my my top played album of last year was from um what's the guy who wrote Moonlight? What's his name? The black
Really? No.
director who wrote Moonlight. Oh my god, that's going to frustrate me so much. He also wrote a film, If Beale Street Could Talk. Or wrote it, he directed it, and
Barry Jenkins?
Barry
So
Jenkins, my
Barry
man,
Jenkins.
Barry Jenkins, and he collabed with a musician, and they basically created this whole score for the film. And that film and the score has been the soundtrack to my life for basically like the last 2 years. For some reason,
Wow.
there's a lot of like bass, a lot of cello, a lot of violin, and it really just I just really connect to that kind of music. So that is like what I kind of was like. If I'm stressed, I listen to that. If I'm sleeping, I listen to that. All that kind of vibe. But then also, Summer Walker, like she was just my babe, like that album. Do you know what I mean? Just so I guess I'm
Summer Walker.
yeah. I just like
Mhm.
when I was painting yesterday, I was just playing her whole radio on my Spotify, and it's just going on repeat. And I don't know, like it depends what mood I'm in per se. I wouldn't say I can listen to anything while I paint, but just music I connect with helps me helps me a lot. But I don't think there's a particular genre that I produce more or better work in. But
Mm,
what can distract me is music with lyrics. So a lot of the music I listen to is lyricless. So that's why I listen to a lot of like lo-fi. But when I'm
mm.
studying or when I'm really in a space, I don't really like anyone else's voice entering my head. It sounds really dramatic, but like
No, no, I know
do you
exactly
know what I
what you
mean?
mean.
It's almost like
Distract.
it sounds so weird. It's like it obstructs my frequency. Like I'm thinking as I'm
Mm.
painting. Like I'm always having dialogue in my head as I'm painting. So as I'm having that, to now hear someone's voice in it, it can just throw it off a bit. But if I'm like empty headed and just like filling in the gaps of a painting, then I can listen to anything. But if I'm like starting a painting, I'm like very deliberate about what I play. And it's gonna be like classical, it's gonna be jazz, it's gonna be lo-fi basically. I just sit around there really. Those are my spaces.
I love lo-fi.
So
I
great.
always come up with lyrics when I listen to
Do
lo-fi because the
you?
songs don't have lyrics.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
my brain fills them in. So I like that.
That got
That's
me
really
through like
cool.
3 years worth of things. I've been listening to lo-fi since like
Yes.
2015. Like it just every exam period, lo-fi. There's
Hmm.
on YouTube. There's that like live playlist that just goes on and on and on and on and on.
That
It's
like lo-fi hip hop
yeah, yeah,
beats to
yeah,
chill
with like the
on YouTube.
anime like backing picture, and she just sat at a desk, and I'm like, this is me, man. This is me.
No, I love that. I want
No.
someone to make me some artwork like that because
Oh,
yeah, I
I'm
really
so
like
down.
writing to those songs.
I'm
Those
so
songs are really
down.
my vibe.
It's just a lot of like
Um,
Studio Ghibli kind of artwork, like a lot of this, like I don't know, like a lot of animation, cartoony, anime-ish kind of stuff. Don't you find that comes with that kind of music?
mm, it's aesthetic anime,
Yeah,
aesthetic vibes.
it's weird.
Like I like
Yeah, I love
I
it.
was remember because I was looking for artwork for my things.
Yeah.
And so I mean I'm gonna try and make my own I want a graphic that I play on all of my things.
Ooh,
But
yes.
yeah, I really like those kinds of vibes and I think
Mm,
they're really good.
love it. We love it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So I don't want to keep you for too long because we've been talking for a while.
Because
But
my social calendar is
I
full.
just feel because we're busy. Like we're busy.
Strangely
No,
busy.
but thank you so much for coming on. And so what I want to sort of round off with
Mm,
is what advice do you have for anybody who maybe was in that position that you were in before you sat and had the convo with your parents? And maybe they are like one of our, our Warwick grads
mm,
or somebody in that position where they've got other things that they could do, but then they know that they got this like professional path and that
mm.
thing. What would you say they do? Like go for it and do it for a while, or would you say throw yourself wholeheartedly? Like, how would you guide or give advice in that area?
I've actually had like a couple of people like call me and ask me this before, and I think they think when they call me that I'm gonna be that person who's like, yeah, like just do what you want, like oh my gosh, like just wherever your spirit leads, just go. I'm very much of the opinion that if you do not need to quit your job, do not quit your job. If you can do what you want to do whilst having us an incoming salary, I think you wouldn't be smart to try
Yeah,
and
and I've
pursue
heard
both.
that. I've
I
heard
think
that a
that,
lot.
you know, if I had a choice, I wouldn't have left my job. It was just because what I wanted to do was so full time. But if not, I'm
Mhm.
always going to recommend that before you leave anything, before you start thinking, "Oh, okay, it's time to resign because, you know, there's the inner Jay-Z in me wants to come out." Like, obviously, you have to look at your, do you know what I mean? Because people be like, "Oh, yeah, like, I can feel it, I'm gonna quit." And then, you know, everyone's looking left and right when it's not panning
Don't
out.
do that.
Gee, this thing is hard,
Don't
bro.
do
Like,
that.
it's hard to stay at home Monday to Friday, working from home, whilst, like, all my friends are, you know, working, like, I don't want to say real jobs because my job is a real
Mm.
job, but as in working, like, 9 to 5.
Having that
Yeah, yeah,
structure of like
they just
9 to
there's no
5, yeah.
structure, and, like, for that, for me, Saturday could as well be Monday. Do you know what I mean? Like, Saturday doesn't mean anything to me. I work on a Saturday and I work on a Monday. I work at 3 a.m. and they're working at 7 a.m. Like it's so difficult to get to a place where it makes sense, that if you can make it makes if you have to be more organized, you have to be better at your time management, balance it as best as you can. And then, you know, me personally, I believe in prayer. Like, unless you have, you know, heard it divinely from God, do not come and use my name to say
Mm.
that Gabby told me to quit her job. No, 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 do not. Do you know what I mean? I think this needs to be something that has been playing on your heart and your spirit for a very, very, very long time. But if it truly has, then, you know, yeah, take that next step. Like, have faith. I think a lot of us struggle to see what makes us special and struggle to believe that there is something in me that is in nobody else, and that why would I be picked? Why would I be the mouthpiece? Why would I be the, but you, because there's nobody like you, right? You are you. And
Amen.
yeah, like, you were brought in this world because you had something to offer to it. And it's, you know, I'm preaching to the choir here, but at the same time, like, I'm also preaching to myself because yeah, it's, you know, Monday to
No, but you've
Sunday.
got to say it. It's
Yeah,
affirmation.
yeah,
It's
it's
affirmation.
real affirmations, and you have to take that seriously. But at the point at which, you know, you're going to do it to the best and fullest of your ability. I think I'm even talking to myself here when I say that, constantly putting yourself out there. Like, for a long time, I was trying to be humble, and I thought, oh, I don't want to, like, you know, overwhelm my feed with, like, all my stuff, and I feel like it's really arrogant.
No, oh my god, your feed is
Right?
amazing. Like
Thank you.
I was even there like, "What? I want more."
That's it. And the thing is, as I'm, you know, as I'm, like, self-consciously putting it out there, thinking that I'm disrupting everybody's whole life with my little bit of drawing, like, the truth is, people are, like, super
Mm.
supportive. You know, the world is going to accept you if you know, say, this is who I am, period. The world will have no choice but to accept you, right? And so that's what I've been finding, that as I've been putting more and more of that out there, people are like, well, yeah, like, that's cool. The people who don't like it, they've unfollowed me. And it's calm, boo. It's calm. I
Yeah,
hate,
and I had the same thing.
it's
I had
not
the
bad,
same thing. I had like a
period.
bunch of people start unfollowing me when I started posting my
Right.
music stuff, and it's like, "That's cool.
Yeah, like,
Bye."
at the end of the day, if I'm going to put more of myself out there, and, like, that doesn't, you know, that doesn't rock with you, then by all means, like, we don't really need to be integrating, because it's not that you're not denying who I am. You're just not interested, and that's fine. You don't have to be interested. I'm not necessarily interested in everybody who wants to do food blogs, right? So,
You know?
it's not now my place to be offended by anybody who doesn't want to see art, right? So, yeah, like, it's just about staying positive and confident within yourself and within the ability that I believe that God has put in, you know, in each of us, and just
Amen.
having that confidence to, you know, that if He gave it to me, it's up to me to put it back out there. He gave it to me because only I can carry it the way I'm carrying it.
Yes.
So put it out
Yes,
there, man,
exactly, and that is
and don't quit your
that's
job.
big energy, and that's
Big
the
energy.
energy I try and carry. And don't quit your
Don't
job.
quit your job, please. Don't quit your job. Don't,
Don't quit your job. I might make
unless you're being
I love that.
maltreated, and you know when
And
you
then you need
deserve
to
better.
go.
You know when you deserve better. If you know you deserve better, keep it pushing. If you know that
Mhm,
this is something that can be
mhm.
managed alongside that thing that you love to do, by all means, get your time management on lock and just pursue the two. There's no reason why you can't do two at one time. It's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be worth it. for sure.
Yes, and I've heard that before. So on that note, let's wrap up. Thank you
I
so
love
much, Gabby,
it.
for coming
Thank
on,
you
and
for
I've loved this
having me.
conversation, and it's been
Sure.
very wholesome
I've loved
and
it.
hopefully inspiring. And the people all know to find you on Gabby Paints, and all of your socials are going to be in the title and
Oh,
description
we love
anyway.
it. Thank
So
you so much for having me. This has been really
yeah.
lovely.